this and get right down to business. Sorry about the last video. The lighting wasn't good, so I just wanted to get that all fixed up and get started sculpting on this guy. So I'm just sharing this on my Facebook. And away we go. All right, so wow, what a silly thing. They give you all this ways to share your video, but it doesn't work right. Okay, so anyway, I just want to do a couple of quick things here. I'm not going to go crazy, but this isn't going to stick properly, I don't think, with that kind of clay, but whatever. I'm going to actually use a lighter and quickly just all right, that's good. I actually burnt this clay, which is fine. I did that because I want to glue him back together so I can finish the sculpture. So I'm gluing these legs on right now, the way they're supposed to go. The reason why they were cut is because I wanted to get rid of the wire before they were done sculpting. So I'm just going to throw a little bit of this on here. I'm going to spray this on and touch it immediately. Let it harden. Now. Beautiful. Okay, so the legs are both on. I'll spin this guy around. You can see the head is not on. The head's already done except for the lower jaw. You can see it laying down here. I don't even think I can spin this in a way that, not even close. That's fine. All right, so we got some clay here. I'm just going to work on these legs. Get them back to where I want them to be. Got to be careful in here, though. I want to get some different sculpting tools. Get the clay pushed in properly. I want it to be fairly solid. For anybody who's watching, feel free to ask questions or comments. And please share this video if you can on your Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, whatever you like to use. We want to get as many people watching as possible. It always makes it nicer. The more people are watching, more interactive, and you always like lots of comments. So normally I do these kind of videos on Facebook Live because it just seems to be where everybody's at these days. But I don't really want to abandon YouTube. I'm almost up to 1,000 followers, and it's been really great. I've had lots of good feedback and interaction, so I don't want to just up and head to Facebook only. So, but It also goes by the engagement, right? You know, if it's going to be one of those things where it's not, you know, the people just aren't here, then that's fine. You know, and maybe it's just one of those things where live video streaming is, you know, some people like to watch the live stuff on Facebook and like the pre-recorded stuff for, you know. Another thing that would also be really cool is to hear people's thoughts on the best time of day, you know, or evening to do these live videos, because I'd be willing to do them in the evening, I think once a week or something, if that's what would be better for everybody. So I'm down with that for sure. I know that the whole live sculpting video thing is kind of a cool thing going on right now. I've actually, between making this morning's video and this afternoon's video, which I'm doing right now, I was watching some videos on the Stan Winston School of Character Arts, which if you want to get better at sculpting or painting or drawing or, well, anything, that's the guys to check out. They've got some really good stuff going on over there. All right, so let's get this in here to the best of my ability. Squash that in. Then we'll have to add some skin detail in there. All right, so it's looking better already, but it needs skin detail. And it's going to need some added wrinkles in the front here for the kneecap. Hopefully you guys can see that. I think I've got a better light going on here. But before we do that, we're going to also get this one adjusted. Now I just actually burnt this a little bit to get it to glue better, but that might have also caused me a little bit of trouble. So we're going to pull this down and get a small X-Acto, because we're going to cut some of the burnt stuff that's in our way. There we go. Just don't want it in my way here. There we go. Oh, that's perfect. What I did was use a lighter to quickly bake the Sculpey just at the top, just the part that's touching, so that way it would stick better when I put the super glue to it, but it also has baked a little bit of it, so we had to cut that out of there. And now we can get in here and add our clay back and get it situated. So we're going to put some new clay on there. Use this paddle type piece here. Oop. Of course, it wants to stick to the tool, which happens sometimes. Oh well. It's okay. Then get it right up in here against this. Gotta be super careful because I glued half-baked clay to the top, which isn't always a good idea. So what I'll have to do here to fix this is I'll have to do some of the get the detailed work done on the leg quickly, and then hit it with a heat gun so it partially bakes, and that'll hold it together. And then after that, we'll toss it in the oven. And the reason why, like I said, I cut the legs off in the first place is because the armature had the wire running all the way from here up, and it's tied in. So later on, when I want to make molds of this and cut it, it kind of gets wrecked. So I figured I'd cut it ahead of time before everything was completely finished, and then glue it back together and then resculpt it. And then I can come along actually, which is the heat gun, get this nice and hot, and just run with an X-Acto blade in here, and it'll be so much simpler to do this. So I'm excited about that. So for this, I'm not even gonna leave it bulked out like this a little bit, just like what I'm gonna do to the other one. I'm gonna add a kneecap. So all right. I'm thinking about even possibly doing some live on Twitch streaming. Yeah, I think that's going to be, this leg is not tilted back as far as I want it now, so that's fine. We're going to just have to make it tilt back a little bit. All right. So let's try to fix these muscles at the back. We'll get them joined up here. This again is where it gets really difficult. And then these little cracks and crevices and small areas. This, doesn't even look like it's going to. I won't be able to put any detail. On this leg until I take it apart again, so I'm going to have to pretty much line it up and then take it apart again. But that's looking right there. That's how I want it. This one's done. Just want to smooth it over. Make sure it's all in here nicely, and then I'll add new skin detail to it. And then I'll well, sculpting a T-Rex is the same process as sculpting anything else, right? The way I'm doing this dinosaur, here the Therizinosaurus, which is a theropod dinosaur, is pretty much the same thing. The only difference is that the angle of this dinosaur is more vertical, and obviously you probably want your T-Rex to be pretty horizontal, balancing at the hips. But other than that, you're looking at the same process. So, but other than that, a good tip would also be to build a really solid armature, because without a solid armature, you're going to get lots of cracks, and it's going to be hard to work with. So you definitely want to do that. I think I made a video on this channel about how to build a pretty decent armature. Before I go, I'll show you what the armatures look like on inside of these guys, because I have a Carnotaurus that I was planning on doing, and then he kind of got put up on the shelf for a while. So, but I do have the armature for him that I started. There we go. So what I've done here, just so you guys get an idea, probably wondering why I put alcohol on a brush, but the alcohol actually smooths out the clay. So, and I've had to get it into these small areas. So I want to make sure that it's nice and smooth. See, this leg's a lot easier to work with. So the other thing I'll say quickly while I'm doing this, about if you're planning on doing a T-Rex there, Darth, get lots of good references. Watch some good YouTube videos. And don't necessarily feel compelled to sculpt them with feathers, because a lot of the new stuff coming out now is putting them back to dinosaur skin. There we go. Oh boy. So I think what's going to happen here, there we go. All right, that looks nice and thin there. That looks thin, so we're going to have to make some. So let's take a little piece of clay here, and let's build a kneecap on this guy. Take that little piece there too. Build a nice big kneecap. And this whole project's done. It's going to look really good. I'm actually really excited about it, because the plan is to make this guy fighting a Tarbosaurus. All right. Let's blend that in. Now I'm coming in and I'm making these small lines. So they will look like cracks. And then I'm going to come back afterwards with this guy. So I'm going to take a smaller tool and do the same thing. So we must be, everybody must be getting pretty excited now because Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is only a couple weeks away. I heard in the UK it's actually coming out tomorrow, so you guys are pretty lucky. All right, so I like it. We're just going to go over here. We're going to round it off. There we go. Even use the end of the brush to kind of give it a little more texture, and this guy's kind of turning on me, which isn't good. I need him to kind of stick up like that. I might have to come back and re-drill this hole because I can't have him sitting like that. I don't know what I'm going to do here. All right, so I'm going to beef up this, and then I'm going to start getting some of this skin detail formed on this side. I'm not going to do this video for too much longer. Just kind of wanted to give you guys a basic idea of some of the stuff that I'm doing here. So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'll get this going. I'm going to build this kneecap up here. I'm going to try to, I think, quickly hit oops. Hold on a sec. Just checking something here on my Facebook, trying to see if I can link this see if I can link it together. Now let's see here. Sorry. Okay, hopefully I did that right. I'm actually just going to hit it and see if it'll do dual broadcasting. I'm not sure. So, all right. So let's go back to this now. So I've been on YouTube broadcasting this now for about 30 minutes, and now we're over on Facebook as well. So I'll have to click between the two for the comments, but that's okay. I just wanted to see if my computer was capable of doing both. So what we're working on now is the kneecap. I'm going to get the kneecap done on this guy. And then once he's done, I'm going to there we go. Use this rubber tool just to kind of blend it all in. And now the nice thing about this guy, that now that he doesn't have his wires attached inside all the way up, is that when I go to cut him, to mold him, I can just use a heat gun, come in with an X-Acto, and then it's going to work out perfect. Oh, well, thanks, buddy. Thank you, Oliver. All right. So, because I do definitely intend on making a mold of this guy, and like I said, he's going to be fighting a Tarbosaurus. So let's smear that up a little bit. Doesn't matter if we cut in a little bit. And then again, I'm going to take my sculpting tool with the small ball point on the end. I'm going to run it around like this. I just find it makes a nice kneecap. Let's actually bring it around like that. Bring one over here. You don't want to get too much. Okay. And we're going to take the small one. We're going to add some deeper lines in there. You can see my fingerprints too, because I don't always use gloves. So, and I touched the other side and wrecked my work, but that's okay because I'll fix that and maybe put on some gloves. But the reason why I brought up the fingerprints is because the fingerprints aren't very deep. So usually when you use this alcohol in the paintbrush, it softens everything up. Makes for a nice kneecap. It also eliminates the fingerprints. So we're going to come back in with this one. Not sure what's got stuck on here, but we're going to make some of those lines again. There we go. We're going to bring some of them down. Some of them across like this. Make some of them deeper again. There we go. Now, I think I like it. It's looking good. I'm actually looking forward to getting this guy done, getting them all painted up. It's going to be great. So we need to get some skin detail on him, on this leg that's similar to this leg. And so how we're going to do that is we're going to use some texture stamps for this, just because he's not huge. We could sculpt in every single piece individually, but we don't really need to do that. So we're going to take this, which I've made here. Hey, Patrick, how's it going, buddy? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, okay, there's a question on YouTube. Isn't Tarbosaurus a subspecies of Tyrannosaurus now? That is a good question. I've heard that, and I know that would definitely be a possibility. But I'm not 100% sure, so I won't say. I know that if you get the book called The Princeton Field Guide of Dinosaurs, written by Gregory S. Paul, he, I'm pretty sure, says that in his book, but that doesn't mean that it's something that's been settled, because he has also been known to lump other species together that other paleontologists don't necessarily agree with. So I can't say for sure. But that's a really good question, actually, to think about. Gregory S. Paul has lumped many species together, from my understanding, and I think that's actually one of the reasons that we have the larger velociraptors in Jurassic Park, because his book Predatory Dinosaurs of the World was used as a resource, if my memory serves me correctly, for Jurassic Park, in which he called Deinonychus Anteropus, I believe. He called it Velociraptor Anteropus, which we all know Deinonychus is much larger than Velociraptor, and that kind of gave way to the license of making large raptors in Jurassic Park. And then obviously 6 months prior to the movie's release, I believe the scientific paper came out talking about the Utah raptor. So then it was settled as far as the fact that there was large raptors. But anyway, that's a interesting fact, based on his belief and his research that he'd done. He believed that they were lumped together, and I do believe that he says that Tyrannosaurus and Tarbosaurus are just subspecies. Gotta be so careful when doing this, especially when it's not really tight together. I actually prefer sculpting the detail myself, but it takes a long time, and it's not really necessary for this. Because it's not so large that we need to get the level of detail. This part especially is going to be hard. Sorry if I'm leaning in too much. So I'm not going to stick around with this video too long. It's actually been going on quite a while on YouTube. So those who are watching on Facebook, if you want to see the beginning of this, all you need to do is head on over to YouTube and you can see what's going on. As far as how much I've done, it actually isn't very much. I just pretty much wanted to get these legs glued on because I want to get them finished this week. I'd like to actually get this this dinosaur finished. Oop, we're ripping them off here. Gotta be careful. You don't want to do that either. Okay, so I think we're gonna leave him like that just for now because he's spinning on the block too. So I'm gonna have to fix that. So pretty much I just want to get this fixed just around I'm gonna have to make another little bit of skin folds. The skin folds around this area so I can simulate. There we go. Because it's kind of falling apart. It's not glued good enough, but that's fine. I might have to just kind of bake this guy a little bit. I'm going to try to get in here, make some skin detail. I don't think it's going to work deep in here, but I do like to get a little bit in here just to blend it in. Try to push it in here a little bit. There we go, make a little extra. Okay. So I'm pretty much going to end it here for the video. I'm going to do a little bit more work, try and get it refined around here as much as possible. Then I'm going to hit it with a heat gun to bake this part. And then I'm just going to come in with an X-Acto and cut it. And then get the legs removed. And then I can finish sculpting the legs by themselves. So that's where I'm at with that. And I'll try and come back with a video later this week. And I'll sculpt the other arm so you guys can see how I did that. And then we can get this guy finished, hopefully, by the end of next week. So, but anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon.